Good evening. So, our topic today is business ecosystems. So that's our hot, from our perspective, really increasingly important topic that we see in the market. My name is Alexander Rösch. So I would call myself as kind of a designer, creative for successful business ecosystems. Yeah, and together with me is Julian.
My name is Julian. I'm a professor of strategic management in Berlin, and I'm also the cooperation partner of PwC. First of all, I created tools for managing business ecosystems and consulted PwC by themselves how to become an ecosystem player as a consultancy. And then we said, let's put our assets and competences together and do that also for the external world. And we will give you a little bit of snapshot how we do so. So the first thing is to, first of all, structure the world with this new perspective, with this new logic, and then to define your positioning, to define your future sweet spots with this ecosystem game where you are not alone, where you can leverage also the power of the many, the power of others. And that's why you need a framework. That's obviously with which a professor comes up, but behind that there's 5 years of research where we have worked together with more than 1,000 practitioners and have asked them what is changing in this ecosystem game. And the main issue what is changing is that we have this paradigm shift, which Alex mentioned, from this segregated B2B and B2C logic into ecosystem to human, how we call it, which first of all puts the human being in the center of everything and around that you're offering. And secondly, to think in different roles, which players within new roles also, which players have in the market with an ecosystem perspective. You can see that here with an example. First of all, once again, even if you're a B2B company, you have to think in human needs. And currently we are working, for instance, together with automotive OEMs, but also with suppliers. And the suppliers, they are recognizing that the automotive players are going towards or developing towards experiences and towards new services and towards other parts of life, the human being, which they would like to cover, for instance, health and others. And that means also that the suppliers have to take this human needs and customer perspective to understand that, to be ready for this transformation everybody in the mobility and automotive industry is just about to do. And that's why, once again, human being in the center. Then we have 10 life areas as a structuring tool, which are always the same, so that you can compare also companies, portfolios, and everything, which start with mobility, health, recreation, work, and so on and so forth. I don't go into the detail of each of them, but they actually help you to structure the world and to structure your portfolio from a human-centric perspective. And now, maybe the real new thing is the roles which are out there in the ecosystem, and we have 3 roles. We have the orchestrator. I mean, you know all the big orchestrating ecosystem companies from the tech players and also from the startup side, but here we have the example of an energy case in Germany. So the Germans will know that Tamondo is a platform for delivering service or for connecting craftsmen and also producers of heating systems together with the end consumer as a platform. Then we have the realizer, that are all companies still with contact to the end consumer, still with contact to the human being. Here in that context, that are, for instance, telecommunication companies or energy companies, but you can have there in the mobility context, for instance, also public transport companies or OEMs like Volkswagen, Audi, Mercedes, and others. And then you have the enablers in the outer ring, which are all B2B players. And with this logic, now you can start analyzing portfolios, start wargaming, start applying strategies, start thinking about which are the potential use cases as the first derivation, and then, of course, to drill that down more into detail. So, having said that, one example when we look at corporate strategy, I know we are here more with corporate innovation, but what we are recognizing is that strategy, innovation, and marketing/product management are more and more integrated. Not that they are one unit, but that they have to collaborate internally together to create this user experience from an end-to-end perspective. So So that's why what you see here on the left side are typical formats of portfolios of companies you know or you don't know within this ecosystem strategy map. Of course, Amazon is kind of, everything is orange here, it's kind of the concierge of our life, is doing everything and trying, of course, to get in all business models which are out there. It's just a question of time and a question of competition, who lets them in or keeps them out. Then we have other companies like Covestro, pure B2B player, but still, of course, with like their customers which are closer to the human and having the job to be done to think about in which life areas can we actually enable user experiences even if we don't have contact with the end consumer, with the human. We have Ping An, also very famous ecosystem player in China, starting from financial services or insurance, and then expanding also into other areas, especially in healthcare with Ping An Good Doctor, which is probably the most interesting healthcare ecosystem we have here all over the world. So for all healthcare companies, that's interesting. And last but not least, we have here Ferrari. Maybe a hidden champion on the slide, but Ferrari is not just producing high-performance cars, but it's also creating user experience by events, by organizing Ferrari fans and communities, bringing them together, and also cooperating with other luxury brands to bring that luxury experience also into other life areas. So, having said that, on the right side I don't go too much into the detail, but what you can also do is then, of course, to think about, when the left side is kind of a status quo observation, you can start thinking about what to do, either to focus on specific life areas or to expand, to move into other ones with partners, or to integrate from backward to forward, like in that case Rösch did it in the diabetes care sector. And of course you can also have a role across every life area, like a software company, also like an energy company, where you actually contribute to people's life in each life. And that even goes further. For instance, like 5 weeks ago, I was invited by Audi in Bits and Pretzels conference, kind of a similar conference like here, but a little bit bigger in Munich, and they announced their ecosystem, which is called Experience Fair, and one of the topics is also health. So maybe you think they are crazy, but still these companies are thinking into user experiences end-to-end, from EBIT to customer lifetime value, to bring value out of the car also into some parts of the life of the customers. And not only the OEMs in mobility are doing that, also many other customers, many other companies. And that's why it's so important then to, first of all, identify the use cases. That is what Alex just mentioned with the wargaming exercise, but also to drill them down. And of course here, this is a little bit pixeled, this chart, but there, of course, you also need a process, a structure to do so. And so we use this so-called ecosystem design grid with 6 steps to go from needs, which we learned like a couple of slides before. It's the most important starting point, until the offering, the assets, the partnering, the data as key elements to think about how could a particular singular ecosystem business model look like. And then also to start the discussions and to use this step by step to think about what is our role, who could be the partners, and what can we do there. So you see, we are very passionate about ecosystems, and we hope we have influenced you at least a little bit. We say thank you very much. Of course, you can discuss with us today at the dinner or at the PwC stand. If you like to have a book, I think we have a couple of books still left, then just ask us, and if not, good luck and a great evening together later. Thank you so much.